All right, let's talk about importing and exporting contact records into the platform. Now, maybe you have a current customer list that you want to bring into the platform and upload and be able to send out some marketing, or maybe you've got some leads that you've generated from funnels and websites, and you want to export that information to maybe send out a direct mail campaign or do something else with that data. That's what I'm going to discuss in this video. Now, first things first, we get to bring up the CRM section. And you'll notice up the left here, we've got a little tab that says Contact. So we'll click that and it's going to bring up our CRM section of the platform. And what we want to do is we want to look for this button right here that says Import Contacts. And as you can see, it's right here, right on top of the menu options. We'll select that and it's going to bring up a sub menu. Now, before we upload, we want to make sure that our file that we're uploading is actually ready to be uploaded. The reason for this is it can only read certain files and it can only read up to a certain size, 50 megabytes. So you may want to do some work on your file. I'm going to walk you through how to do that. But you want to make sure that you notice that, hey, the format that I'm uploading is not just an Excel file, otherwise it's going to fail. You want to have a CSV file instead. And also you want to make sure that it's not over 50 megabytes because it's not going to upload. So you may need to look at your file if it's got some really big lists, maybe segment that out a little bit before uploading. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is we've got to have the file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Excel here where I've got a little file that I created, has some contact information in here. Now, one thing to note before you import a file is you want to arrange the data in a way that's easy to read. So notice how the first name is with all the first names and last names are all with the last names here. I've got a phone number, an email. You may want to have some additional fields, but what you want to do is you want to make sure they're all in columns. And they're all titled correctly to where the system can actually read it. Because when we import this file, the system is going to try and match up all those titles that you give it. And we just want to make it easy on yourself and the system to recognize that data. Now, once you've got that ready to go, you get the file looking good here. What you want to do is you want to export this as a CSV. So on Mac, I'm going to do Save As, and it's going to bring up a submenu here where we can change the file format. Most likely it defaulted to Excel workbook. It can't read this file. You've got to send it off as a CSV. So you want to change the file format to CSV or common delimited and then click save. Once you do that, it's going to export your Excel file into a CSV file that can easily be imported. So we're going to minimize this for a second and jump back over to CRM. And we're going to click upload a file and we're going to find our file in the computer, and you'll notice that it shows the file name right here that it's ready to be imported. So we're going to click this next button, and what it's going to do is going to read the file and try to match up those headers that we titled earlier. So we actually titled these pretty well, exactly match them up, exactly how we wanted it. But what you want to do is you want to scroll through this and make sure that the headers that you uploaded are actually matching the data in the system. These drop down menus right here, this is where the data is going to show up in the CRM. So you want to make sure to match up the information to where it's perfectly correct and going to be able to import. So what we're going to do is we're going to click next once we're finished with that. And we got a couple of options here. You can create smart lists from this. So for example, let's say you want to upload a list of past customers. So maybe what you want to do is type in past customers as your import name and click create a list. Well, it will actually save a list up here that you can tap into and click and easily get those list of records there to where you can just message those people if you want. If you want to have a list like that, just be sure to title it like that and it'll save up here for you to tap into. Now, there's some other advanced options that we've got that we can use to maximize our imports and make sure that we can do some things in bulk. So as you can see, we've got a couple of options here. What you want to do with the contacts and the CSV file? Well, we can either add new and update existing contact records. What this is going to do is it's going to look at the file and find anybody that's not in the CRM, and is going to import those people and update any other records that that we may have. So for example, if we already have a person in the CRM that has that email or phone number, we can just update that record with any additional information in your file. We can also add a new contact record, or we can just update existing contact records. So this is really a good one to do if you're just trying to refresh your data. Maybe you've generated some customers offline or something, and you want to update those people into your system. And so what you can do in this section here is you can skip existing contacts based on a couple of things like email or phone number if you want to do that. So you can kind of select that to skip to make sure that, for example, if we're doing add new contact records, we want to skip people based on phone or email if you want to select that. So in our case, what we're going to do is we're just going to add new contact records because we don't have them in the system here. And then we're going to scroll down. There's a couple of other options here. The first one is tags. So tags are a little identifiable information that you can use when you're searching through the CRM. So for example, let's say that you've just got a list that you're uploading and it's from a specific region. So maybe your sales team, you're uploading that list is all the customers you want to go after in Kentucky. So maybe you tag that list with Kentucky. So when somebody goes in the CRM, they can use the search field and type in Kentucky and pull up all of those records. So you can get really, really creative with these tags. They're very helpful to segment people along the way. You've just got to think about what tags would be relevant to the list that you're uploading. And then you can use those terms, those key terms, to segment people out and find which ones they are that you want. Now, the next section we have here is add to workflow or campaign. If you already have a campaign or a workflow set up when you import leads, you can actually go ahead and add them to like a campaign rather than just selecting them from a list or individually in the CRM. You can just go ahead and just send everybody into a campaign if you want. So if you want to do that, you'll click this little toggle there, and it'll show you, and it will allow you to select the campaigns that you already have set up. In our case, we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it here. Then the last option here, you've got validate emails. What this is going to do is check all the email addresses, all the records, make sure that they are accurate emails that can be emailed to. That way, you're not hurting your deliverability rate by sending emails that are bouncing back and things like that. Now, please note, if you choose to validate emails, it may include additional charges from Mailgun, right? So once you've got all of our settings correct here, what we're going to do is we're going to click submit, and that's going to start processing the file. So what it'll do is it'll go through import all of that, tile it correctly, and pop that information into the CRM. Now, if you want to wait and view the progress, you can click there to see that, and it will go through and show you all of that. Now, once we're ready to go, you can go through and see them in your CRM. So we'll click back over to contacts, and as you can see here, our contacts are now imported, right? So now we've got them in the system, and we can use this information. We can start reaching out to them. So let's say we want to export information now. How did we get it out of the CRM? Well, what you want to do, you want to select the records you want to export. So you can click this little icon here to select them. You can also do a search and find all the people you want. Then click next, select all, and then click this little handy export contacts button. When you click that, it's going to show you how many contacts we're exporting. And just click export contacts. And what this is going to do is it will download the file right here. It will allow you to export the data. So that's how you import and export data. I hope it helped, and I'll see you in the next video.